Today's video is brought to you by Assiniboia Downs Gaming and Event Center. Be sure to tune into this channel live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern for Monday Night Lights, hosted by Trust the Profits.
The 2-year-old filly division in California is absolutely loaded with talent this year, and I can't wait to see who rises to the top in the Mar Debutante. The Mar Debutante is a grade 1 going 7 furlongs for 2-year-old fillies with a purse of $300,000. And I am very excited about this race. I think there are some potential superstars in here. We've got a 14-horse field that includes 3 horses who I personally have on my watch list, including 2 that I've already talked about on the channel in Cheeky Gal and Julia's Dream. And we have a 14-horse grade 1 in California with no Baffert horse. So that's an interesting turn of events here. Who would have thought? But we're going to go horse by horse through all 14 of these horses, and then I will give you race analysis and my final top selection at the end. Spoiler alert, a lot of them could win this. Let's start with Julia's Dream, the 1 horse. I've talked about this filly a bit on the channel. She was an AE in that race that I talked about her in, but I had to take the opportunity to talk about her because I just think she's a really talented filly. And she came back after not drawing into the main body of the field and looked really impressive in her debut. She went gate to wire in a 5-furlong turf sprint and won by 5.5 lengths. She got an 88 buyer for that effort, which is the best of any horse in the field. Chances are dirt won't be an issue here, but there are definitely other question marks. The big one here is the rail. She'll probably have to show speed again, but she's probably not going to get clear this time with the likes of some of the other speed horses that she has in this race. Taking a look at her pedigree, she's by Flame Away and out of the Meadow Lake mare Cinnamon Girl. There's not a ton of black type in this family. The dam does have 1 stakes placed winner from 11 other foals and was a foal to a stakes winner who finished 2nd in the grade 1 Oakleaf Stakes and 3rd in the grade 1 Hollywood Starlet at 2, so there is some precocity there. Sket Daddy has 3 stakes winners out of mares carrying Meadow Lake. And overall, I think Julia's Dream definitely belongs at this spot. I think that she is a stakes quality filly, but I do worry that the deck is stacked against her a little bit in this spot. Next, we have Next Right Thing. She chased Julia's Dream on debut and had every chance, but couldn't get by 2nd place finisher Avoir in the stretch. I do think that Avoir is a very nice filly, though. She'll actually be coming back Friday at Del Mar, so that'll be a good chance to gauge the strength of that Julia's Dream race. Next Right Thing is coming in with some sharp works off of the debut effort, but it's kind of hard to see her getting the win here. She's the first foal from her dam, Dark Wings Over Dubai, who won her first 2 starts and finished 3rd in the grade 3 Bourbonnette Oaks. And her sire, Fast Anna, was a son of Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Dreaming of Anna, so there's clearly some precocity here. Her dam's 4 lifetime starts were all over synthetic surfaces, and she was a daughter of Raven's Pass, who, of course, won the Breeders' Cup Classic on synthetic and was primarily a turf horse. Fast Anna's offspring actually went at 18% on synthetic compared to 16% on dirt and 11% on turf. So you kind of wonder if maybe there's a good chance of her doing well at a place like Woodbine or something in the future. This female family does actually go back to a pretty deep female line if you take a look. Her 2nd dam was a foal to grade 1 winner Funny Moon, and her 4th dam was a half to Belmont Stakes winner and champion 3-year-old Temperance Hill, and was also the dam of champion Van Landingham. However, Next Right Thing is not a horse that I need in this spot today. Next is Pretty Layla. We talked about the horse on this channel prior to her debut. She didn't really show a whole lot in that opening day maiden special weight. She finished an even 5th, 2 3/4 lengths behind the winner Dua. She did show some improvement when stretching out and switching to turf 2nd out, as far as she rallied and just missed the win by 3/4 of a length, though her buyer figure in that race regressed by 21 points to a 44, and as you can see, her Equibase speed figure also regressed. She does have the benefit of proving that she can pass horses, but I don't really see anything to suggest the kind of improvement that she's going to need in order to be competitive in here. She is a very well-bred filly, though. Uncle Mo, of course, needs no introduction, and her damn pretty lady is actually a full sister to Millionaire Handsome Mike and a half-sister to Del Mar Debutante winner Union Strike. So there's reason to believe this is going to be a nice filly, but I just don't see her getting the job done in here today. Next is Benedetta. She went off favored in the Sorrento and ran a really nice race to finish second to Dreamfyre in there. She set a good stalking trip, came up alongside, but just really couldn't challenge the winner late. She did win her debut gate to wire at Los Alamitos and has shown that now she can stalk. And Simon Callahan takes blinkers off for this race, a move that has seen him win at 25% from a small sample size of 8 starters. She needs to improve in order to win here, but there's reason to believe she could definitely do so. Benedetta's dam Tessie Flip was a useful sprinter at Presque Isle Downs who has produced a stakes-winning turf sprinter already, although none of her 5 foals have won at distances past 5.5 furlongs yet. However, she's a daughter of City of Light who could impart a little bit more stamina. The average winning distance for his foals is 6.97 furlongs. So that gives you a little more hope that that 7 furlong distance isn't going to be an issue today for Benedetta. In addition to being a half to a stakes winner, her dam is a half to Grade 1 winner Switch. And there's some really interesting line breeding here to her tail female line. Her 5th dam, Natashka, is actually the 3rd dam of Elusive Quality, meaning that she's inbred 6x5 to her 5th dam. There's also some distant line breeding here to the family of Gone West. His 2nd dam is a half to Atan, who is the sire of Benedetta's 3rd dam sire, Sharpen Up. The cross of Gone West over Sharpen Up has produced 4.85% stakes winners and over 3,100 starters, including horses like Breeders' Cup Turf winner Joe Har and Quality Road's champion 2-year-old filly Caledonia Road. That Quality Road Sharpen Up cross, as you can see here, has produced 4 stakes winners and 35 starters. So there is something to it, it seems, bringing Gone West back to that female family of mixed marriage. However, the cross of Elusive Quality over Grand Slam has yet to produce a stakes winner in 20 starters. So I don't think Benedetta is without a chance in this race, but there's definitely others that I prefer. Number 5 is Hope Road. She was most recently seen just being caught by Tamara after setting the pace, but she put in a nice effort on debut, too. She came flying from last, widest of all, to dead heat for second behind Dua, who would return to be a pretty well-beaten 3rd in the Sorrento behind Dreamfyre and Benedetta. The horse that Hope Road dead heated with in that race, You're in Trouble, was a non-threatening 5th in the Sorrento, and the horse that she passed late, Feisty Matoli, was a total non-factor in her next start. So there are some questions about whether that race, as strong as it looked at the time, was really quite that good. In her 2nd career start, though, she never switched leads in the lane, but she did get an improved buyer figure, so maybe the extra distance was helpful for her, and more distance today could help out even more. The fact that she's proven that she can pass horses definitely works in her favor. Now, we already talked about Hope Road pedigree on her debut, and the most notable point that I really want to bring up again is that her dam, Grade 1 sprinter Marley's Freedom, took a while to really come into her own. She didn't get into stakes company until the La Brea in December of her 3-year-old season and really blossomed more as a 4-year-old. So with the promise that Hope Road has shown, I think she's a horse that has to be taken seriously because I think that she's going to get better with experience and age. So I think that the extra furlong also helps her here. Marley's Freedom was a winner from 6 to 8 furlongs, and her Grade 1 win did come at this 7 furlong distance in the Ballerina. I really wouldn't be surprised to see Hope Road get a piece of this here, especially if the pace is as hot as it looks like it's going to be on paper. The 6 is Chatalas. She set a stalking trip on her debut effort July 30th and had to work pretty hard to get the win here over a 20-1 long shot. She did get a very solid figure of 74 for that win, but the race hasn't really come back all that strong. The favorite, Thermal, who ended up 4th in there, finished 3rd as the odds-on favorite in her next start. And 5th place finisher, Just Be You, came back to run 5th in that race behind Tamara and Hope Road. So I'm not sure how good that race was for Chatalas, and she had to work awfully hard to get it done. However, there is plenty of pedigree here to make you think that she could do it. Everybody knows Gunrunner can get an exceptional racehorse. He can get an exceptional 2-year-old, so there's nothing to worry about there. Looking back to her dam won her only start and has produced 4 winners from 5 starters, though none of them were really that significant. Dam was a half to a multiple stakes placed winner named Table 310, and Gunrunner does have one stakes winner in 10 starters out of mares carrying Chatalas's Damsire Indian Charlie. This is just a tough filly for me to have really strong feelings about either way. She got the job done on debut, so you can't really fault her for that. But I just don't really know if that race was that good. So she's a horse that I'll choose to pass on here and let beat me if that race is better than it looks. The 7 is Dreamfyre. Now, full disclosure, I really loved this filly at OBS April, and she's quickly becoming one of my favorite horses in training. She has a great pedigree and had a very fast breeze where she's not the prettiest mover in the world. If you look at the Sorrento gallop out, you can kind of see how she paddles, and she does that at the walk as well. So she's not perfect as far as like a physical specimen, but I actually looked at her twice at OBS April because I wanted to get a second opinion on her because something about her I just really liked, despite the little nitpicks that you could make about her. She just seems really athletic, and so far she's been living up to that. I was a little worried in the Sorrento about how she would take pace pressure, but that didn't even end up mattering because she's just so fast. She makes this kind of wonky stride work for her, and I loved that Benedetta came up to her, and it looked like she was in trouble for a few strides at the top of the stretch. But Dreamfyre just had more to give. And just as Trevor Denman said, the more they asked, the more she gave. And she just kept going. So there's no denying that this filly is fast. She has a lot of talent. But the question here is that extra furlong that she's adding and whether she can carry that speed, especially with horses like Julia's Dream and a couple others in here that look like they could potentially press. You expect Julia's Dream has to go from the inside, and just to Dreamfyre's outside. We'll get to Pushiness in just a minute, who's also been very quick in her 2 lifetime wins. But neither of them have been quite as fast as Dreamfyre. So I wonder if maybe this is a case where the best of the speed just gets out there and keeps going again the way she did in the Sorrento. It's hard to know for sure, but I really think this filly is going to be tough in this race. Now, I could ramble for ages about Dreamfyre's pedigree, but thankfully, I've already done that on my blog, Hawkstone Bloodstock, back when she was just hip 37. So if you want the full scoop on her pedigree, check out the link to that in the description below. And I will just stick with the highlights here. Her dam was graded stakes placed at 2, going 7 furlongs in the Natalma Stakes, and all 5 of her foals to race are winners, including grade 1 placed 2-year-old Nasruddin by Nyquist. Appreciating herself as a half to Buddy's Humor, a winner of the Pan American Stakes, as well as to the dam of grade 1 winner Celestine, who is actually a daughter of Flame Away's sire Scat Daddy. So you know that the Scat Daddy line works with this female family. This cross here of Scat Daddy over Pulpit creates line breeding to the mare Narrate, who is the 2nd dam of Pulpit and the 3rd dam of Johannesburg. The most prolific example of that cross is, of course, Triple Crown winner Justify. So while the extra furlong is a question mark, whether she can take pace pressure is a question mark, I do think that Dreamfyre is without a doubt the horse to beat in this race. But there is another undefeated 2-for-2 runner, and that is Pushiness. She's a California bred for Mike Rapoli, who absolutely rolled on debut, winning by over 6, and then took the state-bred CTBA stakes in her 2nd start. She looked pretty good that day, but the waters definitely get deeper here. Like Dreamfyre, she had a rival come up to her and then put the field away, although her lead was diminishing at the wire, notably. She's going to need a step up to win, I think, but she could absolutely make things tough for both Dreamfyre and Julia's Dream on the lead. Looking at her pedigree, she's by Cantharos and out of the Empire mare Imperial Pippin. Her dam was a winner on both dirt and turf and actually finished 2nd in the Maple Leaf Stakes over Woodbine synthetic surface. So there's plenty of versatility here, surface-wise, in this pedigree. The 2nd dam, Apple of Kent, was a stakes winner and a half to 5 other stakes winners. So there's plenty of depth on the bottom here. And you have to respect Cantharos as a stallion, especially when it comes to getting these fast, precocious 2-year-old types. Pushiness, to me, wouldn't be a total shock, but I think this is going to be a bit tougher than the state-bred company she's been facing. Next is Tamara. Arguably the headliner of this field, despite just having a maiden win, she overcame a bit of a little bobble at the break, stalked along the rail, and waited very professionally for room, then tipped out and overtook Hope Road late in that race. And the top two drew off by over 5 lengths from the rest of the field in there. So you kind of think that they really separated themselves in that spot. She got an 80 buyer for that effort, which was at 6.5 furlongs. So I don't think we have to worry too much about the extra half a furlong here. She's coming in off of a very sharp 3 furlong bullet drill on September 4th, where she went in 34-4. And she absolutely is a horse that needs to be taken seriously in here, especially once we get to her pedigree, of course. The one question is that pedigree going to lead to her being overbet? She's a daughter of Bolt d'Oro and out of the Hall of Fame champion Beholder. Both of her parents were grade 1 winners at 2, so it's no surprise that she came out there and won first out. And I mean, do I need to talk about Leslie's Lady? She's one of the best broodmares of the modern era. She produced not only Beholder, but Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf winner Mendelssohn and grade 1 Cash Call Futurity winner Into Mischief, who is a breed-shaping stallion. And even going back even further to Beholder's 5th dam, Paddlin', this is the family of horses such as I'll Have Another, Pleasant Stage, Class Play, Nadal, Seattle Meteor, and at least 6 other grade 1 winners. So there is nothing but quality here. But there's some questions. Neither of Beholder's first 2 foals to race were winners, but her third foal, Tina Ella by Warfront, is a stakes-winning sprinter on the turf. Bolt d'Oro has produced a 2-year-old stakes winner, Boppy O, out of a mare by Scat Daddy, who comes from that same Hennessy sire line as Beholder. So there's a little bit of precedent here for the sire line cross. And Tamara has a big shot to win this race. There's no doubting it. She could add another 2-year-old grade 1 winner to the impeccable legacy of her granddam, Leslie's Lady. But moving on, we have number 10, Where's My Ring? She ran respectably on debut. She closed from a few lengths off the pace and really looked home free. But then Laurent came flying late. She was a huge long shot that day, though, at 35-1. And I mean, she looked like a winner and has proven that she can pass horses, which does work in her favor, but she definitely needs to keep moving forward in order to be a contender here. She is by the excellent stallion Twirling Candy, who's always been very good, but finally seems to be getting some of the commercial recognition that he deserves. And her dam Mappet was a winner going 8 furlongs, and Mappet's only other foal to race was a winner on debut. And going a few generations back, this is a deep family. Mappet was a half to stakes winner Merlaza, and the third dam here, Crystal Current, was a stakes winner who produced 2 stakes placed runners. Crystal Current was a half to grade 1 hopeful stakes winner Majestic Warrior, and their dam, Dream Supreme, was a winner of the grade 1 test and ballerina stakes and was out of ballerina winner Spinning Round. So there's nothing but quality here on the bottom line for Where's My Ring. Twirling Candy has also produced stakes winner Gear Jockey in 16 starters out of mares carrying Tappet, though he has not yet produced a stakes winner from 22 starters out of mares carrying Where's My Ring's second dam sire, Distorted Humor. There's definitely reason to think that this filly has some talent and has ability, but I'm not quite sure she's ready for grade 1 company here. Next is Motet, the 11. This daughter of Motown debuted in the Sorrento, actually. Despite being a $20,000 purchase, she picked up a $12,000 check to get 4th. So she's already more than halfway back to paying back that OBS April price tag. She had some trouble out of the gate in the Sorrento, which might have really been to her advantage because she was very far back off of that hot pace set by Dreamfyre and kind of just managed to pass the 2 horses from that leading group who tired late and weren't able to go on with it the way Benedetta and Dua did. She was nowhere near challenging Dreamfyre or Benedetta in that race, though, and got a 56 buyer for that effort. This definitely seems like it's going to be even tougher today. But there's some interesting things to talk about with that pedigree, even as a $20,000 purchase. She's by Motown, who was a graded stakes winner at 2, and out of a daughter of Tactical Cat, who was a winner on both synthetic and turf in her career. Motet is a half to 2 stakes winners, but both of those being on the turf makes you wonder if that might be an option in her future. And the Uncle Mo Stormcat cross is very well established. It's produced grade 1 winners such as Nyquist and Mo Donegal. And it's a really interesting cross to me because both Uncle Mo and Stormcat come from low family 8C. and thus share a very distant female ancestor. I think that the pace will be quick again, but she's not going to be the only one moving late this time the way she was in the Sorrento, and I don't think she's likely to factor. 12 is Gate to Paradise. The Connections here spent $950,000 for this filly after she breezed a quarter in 20.4 at the OBS March sale, so clearly they have to think pretty highly of her. On debut, she broke a little bit slow, but steadily moved up and made a little bit of a rail rally to get third, though I think it's notable that her Timeform US late pace figure was just a 54, so it really makes you wonder if she was actually finishing all that well. It seems like an awfully big step up off of that effort where she earned a 63 buyer. But as a John Sheriff's trainee, that almost makes you want a little more interested in her, I think. You kind of have to look twice at her, I feel like, because it just doesn't seem like a very John Sheriff's move to throw this filly to the wolves if she isn't ready for it. But on paper, I feel like she looks pretty dismissible in here, to be honest. She's one who I'm going to end up not using her in any way, but that would be a big, oh, well, John Sheriff's put her into this grade 1 off of a third place effort. I should have known that there was something there if she does pull it off. Looking at her pedigree, she's a daughter of Arrogate, a horse who really isn't known for getting precocious types or sprinters. So I'm sure that's what made that quarter-mile time at the sale all the more impressive. And she does have this big, beautiful stride to her. She's out of the More Than Ready mare Heart of Paradise, who was a winner on debut at 2 and was second in Los Alamitos' Cinderella Stakes second out, then finished third in the Sorrento, but that was in a 5-horse field and she was beaten 8.5 lengths. So it was graded black type, but it wasn't all that impressive. Gate to Paradise is her dam's third starter, and so far they are a combined 0 for 15. So there's a little bit of a concern there. There is a little more black type under the third dam, who's produced 2 stakes winners and 3 stakes placed horses, but this really isn't a loaded pedigree. The price tag there, I think, was really about this horse as an individual and that big stride that she has that she managed to breeze very quickly for a quarter mile with. You have to think that there's something, Sheriff thinks there's something there, but I feel pretty comfortable tossing her in this spot. Next is Laurent. She was one of the more visually impressive debuts from this group. Take a look here as she has this just flashy closing kick. She had some trouble out of the gate that put her over 10 lengths behind what was a very hot pace early. And she will probably get a similar setup in here, you'd think, but probably won't necessarily be quite so far back. She earned a 72 buyer for her debut, which does put her in the mix here as long as she keeps moving forward second time out. Well behind her in that race was Feisty Matoli, who was 4th in that duo race that Hope Road and Pretty Layla debuted in. Looking at her pedigree, she's a daughter of Practical Joke, who was a grade 1 winner at 2, and is the first foal out of a winning trap shot mare named She Rocks the Look. The most interesting thing here is that her second dam is by a Fleet Alex, who is the dam sire of Practical Joke's grade 1 winner Practical Move. So there's some interesting parallels here to that pedigree. The dam is also a half-2 Dancing Belle, who finished second in the Sorrento and 4th in this race, the Mar Debutante, in 2017. This is also the immediate family of graded stakes winners Last Gunfighter and Tiger Moth. And from what I can tell, if the pace collapses up front, this is the one who will be coming fastest late, and I think she's a contender in here. And the final horse in the field is Cheeky Gal. This is another horse who I highlighted on my blog from the OBS April sale, and I also talked about her in my first Future Stars video on the channel. I'll link to that below. She was really well regarded on debut, and she got the job done, but the 59 buyer was nothing to get too excited about. She pressed the pace on the outside of the pace setter, pretty much dueled with that horse throughout, but was beginning to put her away late. The third place finisher, Greer My Dear, who actually passed Cheeky Gal just after the wire, did come back with a really disappointing effort where she was beaten over 30 lengths. And though the winner of that race, Autumn Chill, finished 4th in Cheeky Gal's debut, there is still some question marks about how strong that field was that Cheeky Gal beat. And she only beat them by a little bit. Overall, though, although I really like her pedigree, that debut effort left plenty to be desired, and I'm not sure that she has the step up that she needs to become a grade 1 winner here today. But let's talk about that pedigree. Maximus Mischief is off to a very strong start with his first crop, and he himself was an undefeated 2-year-old in 3 starts and showed some serious brilliance as a 2-year-old, so it's not that surprising. And what really drew me to this pedigree was there's some really intriguing line breeding going on here. Her dam sire, Malabar Gold, is bred very similarly to Unbridled Song, who is the sire of Maximus Mischief's dam sire Song and a Prayer. Malabar Gold and Unbridled Song are both by Unbridled. Malabar Gold's second dam, Incantation, is the third dam of Unbridled Song. Notably, they also share that female family 4M and via a more distant ancestor with Harlan's Holiday, the sire of Into Mischief. The presence of the stallion Superbity, the third dam sire on the bottom, is also rather interesting because he's a half-brother to the excellent sire In Reality, who is the second dam sire of Unbridled. Cheeky Gal is a 3/4 sister to a stakes winner named Spectacular Gem, who is a son of Into Mischief's Can the Man, and her dam has produced 10 winners and 11 starters. So while I think she's a nice horse, I don't think she's good enough at this point to be a win contender in this race. So let's talk about this. This race, it feels tough to me. And on one hand, there's a horse in here who I really, really like. But on the other hand, there's just so many questions always with these lightly raced 2-year-olds to really feel confident. And outside of my top pick, I could see any number of these making the race interesting. The big thing is it does look like it's going to be a hot pace. The main frontrunners seem to be Julia's Dream, Dreamfyre, and Pushiness. Now, I'm not sure that if Dreamfyre wants the lead, I don't know that either of the other two are going to be able to get it from her. But it'll be interesting to see if they try and press her. It does look like it should set up for a closer. Laurent closed impressively on debut, and if the pace completely collapses, I think she's the one I see coming fastest late. But Tamara will probably be the first one, kind of get the jump on a deeper closer like that. She should be able to get a really nice tactical trip. She looks like she should be a really nice horse and is a horse that I think you have to use in the win slot here. The question is, will Tamara be overbet? Julia's Dream is a horse who I think is really interesting. She wouldn't shock me. I really think she has a world of talent, but I just don't think that the setup going from the rail, she's not going to get a pressure-free lead this time. I think she's going to be a huge pace factor, but I'm not really sure she gets the win here. She wouldn't shock me if she ends up being that good, but I just am not sure. One horse who I do think will offer some decent value would be Hope Road, because I think that she is a horse who is going to improve with experience, and she's shown some versatility going to the lead in her last start and coming from, of course, way off the pace in that debut. So she's one who's interesting to me. But to me, the question in this race, the biggest question is just whether you think Dreamfyre can either go on with it the way she did in the Sorrento with the added furlong, or if you think she can rate just off of a horse like Julia's Dream early. And I think she can. So she's going to be my top pick in here again. Now, as a rule, I do have doubts about lightly raced horses like this who have just been so much faster than their competition, now facing other speed for the first time. But that's what I thought last time about her. And it didn't matter. She was just that much faster than the competition still. And honestly, this could be my bias, but I really do think that this is a horse with a lot of talent. And I think that she might even get an easier lead with the added distance today if they're scared of going 21 sub 22 against her, and she's not a lock. She's definitely not a lock. Tamara's going to be tough. But I think that Dreamfyre will be a better price than Tamara because of all of the hype on that Daughter of Beholder. And I think you'll get a reasonably fair price on Dreamfyre to get the job done. And I just at this point think that at where these horses are at currently, I think she's just a step faster than anybody else in here. So those are my thoughts on this year's Del Mar Debutante. It's a race that I'm very excited for. I'm so excited for this race. I cannot wait to see if Dreamfyre is as good as I think she is, I can't wait to see how good Tamara is. I can't wait to see if Julia's Dream manages to get out there and run with it. There's a lot of really exciting fillies in this race, and I think a lot of them are horses who we're going to be hearing from in the future. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the Del Mar Debutante. Who do you like? And make sure you check out all of the other great content that we have going on the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.